Why did they flip Alabama and Notre Dame?
Strength of schedule, it dropped down. It was a razor's edge last week. And what really happened here, the A&M loss actually enabled them, I believe, by the numbers to drop them down. We had a really big discussion about this yesterday in the morning about what was going to happen. And it was kind of either way. And so it actually was not a surprise by the numbers. Personally, I was. I was just like, wow, everybody won. But when you get right down to the nitty gritty with it is Alabama's strength of schedule picked up a little bit with Auburn, whereas Stanford plus the A&M loss, just that much. I mean, there's not much separating them now. And so, but I don't think it matters. I honestly don't think it matters in the end, because if Alabama wins, they're in and they're moving up. Okay. And if BYU gets crushed by Texas Tech, as we all expect, BYU is out and Miami is out. I think the big question is, if Georgia wins and Tex wins, BYU and Alabama, they're both out. Miami is in, and Notre Dame is going to Norman, Oklahoma.
Wait a minute. Alabama can still be left out? Because that was one of the thoughts about. Yeah, no, I'm not arguing that they shouldn't be. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah,
I think they should be. 3 losses, dude. I don't want no 3-loss teams in my playoffs.
Well,
you had your shot.
Yeah, Texas fans are gonna come find
you.
Oh,
shut up, Texas! You know what's funny as hell? You know what's funny as hell?
God.
It's Sarkisian's bitching about non-conference schedule. No, we ran the numbers. You don't lose to Florida, you're in. So what? So really, what you should be complaining about is you're going to 9 conference games next year. It's not the non-conference. Miami, we're not going to schedule Notre Dame anymore. That's your only win worth a damn. You need them. Shut up. Right? It's really easy. Win your games. Quit your bitching. You had your path. You blew it. Time to move on.
Here's Jeff Ward. Who is this guy? He nails every year for as long as they've done it, the college football playoff ranking.
Dave, by the way, if you have merch at the Matrix there, you should have "Win Your Games, Quit Your Bitchin" as a t-shirt available.
Dude, seriously. You know, that Vanderbilt comes out with their data-driven, why we should be. Yeah, that's cute, and I like it, right? I mean, of all the teams that I wish were in, it would be Vanderbilt and Diego's offense, okay? Because as soon as he walks off the field for the last time, they're immediately bowl ineligible, okay? So I would love to see that offense in the playoffs. But you know something? You didn't get it done, right? Everybody has an equal path 0-0. And to complain about it at the end when everybody knows how this works, right? The only reason you don't know how it works is because you refuse to use your brain, or you lack the mental capacity to have literacy and evolution. It's there. Stop complaining about it. We've had it for 12 years. It's the same system it ever was. So, I do think there is a strong possibility Alabama gets gone if they lose.
Well, that would be an actual, I think, good thing for the playoff if a team, because right now, and look, there shouldn't be for Ohio State and Indiana, but if you look at Tech and BYU, and you look at Georgia and Alabama, like the SEC champion or loser appears to have no consequence, but the Big 12 does, and BYU already has, some numbers that compare to Notre Dame favorably. So they're being given a different standard of, okay, SEC championship game, you're fine. Big 12 championship game, this is not the ACC where they've got bigger problems that I'll ask you about in a second, but like that different standard should not apply.
Let me ask you a question. Right. Now, see, people have asked me this question. Dave, if you were on the committee, would you bounce teams down? No, I wouldn't. Alabama would be locked in where they're at. because I do not believe it's fair, level playing field wise, that an Oklahoma or a Oregon or a Notre Dame could sit at home and not have the opportunity to lose, not have the opportunity to get hurt and stay healthy. Okay. So I would say all you can do is move up or stay in. So right now our 10's done, right? That's it. No more. The difficulty then, though, becomes BYU gets in. Does Texas Tech get bounced out? I believe that's a playoff game. I believe loser goes home in that game no matter what happens, even though I think Texas Tech is going to obliterate those guys. So that's my thought process. But, yeah, there's a different measure. Let me ask you guys something. If the Big Ten, who's the worst recruiter you can think of in the Big Ten? Northwestern?
Yeah,
probably.
Right now it's Penn State.
Yeah.
Touche.
Yeah.
No, but something. I mean, who's the worst recruiter in the Big 12?
Right now it's Baylor.
Yeah,
Baylor.
Probably year.
Right now. But imagine right now that UCF or Houston or Cincinnati has the best offense in the Big 12. What would you think of the Big 12? Sucks, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, honestly. Yeah,
right.
Being honest,
right. If Cincinnati or Houston had the best defense in the Big 12, what if Rutgers or Northwestern had the best defense, better than Oregon, Ohio State, Michigan, all those teams? You'd say the Big 10 sucks. It's down, right? So why does the SEC get a pass when their worst recruiter has the number 3 offense in the entire country and the number 1 offense in the SEC?
Dave,
measuring stick, right?
Nope. Yep. I did not think Alabama could get knocked out, but you're saying they can. Did you just say that if Tech doesn't beat BYU, they could be out?
Sure. Yeah. Inside the numbers, they could be out as well. They don't have it. Right. I mean, it's a 2-loss team. It's a 2-loss team without a strength of schedule, without a strong strength of record. And so they have the game control, but you look at the numbers, it is very, 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 very tight. I don't believe Alabama is locked in with that bad loss. Again, remember what I said about Texas. You take away Florida, they're in. You take away Ohio State, they're still on the outside. That bad loss basically counts double. Alabama has one too. In fact, the only 2 bad losses in the top 15 belong to the SEC. So, when you look at these things and you look at the numbers, understand that the differences I'm talking about are razor thin. Notre Dame and Alabama is this close in the numbers. I mean, it is just stacked in there like cordwood. Okay, so Texas Tech loses. It's going to be razor thin. Alabama loses. It's going to be razor thin. Okay, BYU obviously is already out, so they're out. And so there are very, 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 very tiny margins. I do not discount the Big 12 title game, winner in, loser out. I do not discount Alabama being out if they lose. And I think probably the biggest surprise I would have is if Alabama and BYU lose and they're both out, Miami still doesn't get the head-to-head bump over Notre Dame, even if they're 9-10.
Okay, so the ACC has a championship game problem this year, in that they've got Virginia at 10-2, who's not played. I mean, they got the benefit. They're like Indiana, like they got the benefit of their schedule and they played well, and they're a fun offense and all of that. But they also have Duke at 7-5, and that happened because of a lot of their tiebreakers. Should the ACC and some of these leagues that have similar tiebreakers look at that so that you don't have the literal best team in your league with the same record as one of the teams in there sitting out because of tiebreakers that go down to the 9th or 10th one?
I think all you can do then is go to the playoff rankings. Who's ranked higher, right? I mean, if that was it, then it would be Miami and Virginia. And I'll tell you right now, we ran the numbers on that too. If Duke wins and JMU wins, it ain't going to be Duke.
Yeah, I mean, when it shouldn't, they've lost 5 games. I mean, it's they.
Yep. They're out. They're.
Yeah. Do Do you think that the ACC should just, or they should just, do they just simplify it and then like have a nuclear option? Because this, to me, a convoluted tiebreaker and keeping your best team potentially out because of your rules, not the CFP's rules, because of your rules, seems kind of counterproductive.
Yeah, it is, and it won't matter when Virginia beats Duke, right? But remember when you make changes, it causes ripples, and it's yeah.
No, go ahead. You had a pregnant pause there, and
I was just going to say, if the ACC makes a change, it's going to cause a ripple, and it's going to affect you somehow. The SEC is making a change, 9 conference games. It is going to cause a ripple. How it's going to affect everybody, we don't know, but it will cause a ripple. Things that every time you tweak it, something new pops up. Have you noticed that in the last 12, 15, 20 years? Every time we tweak it, the next year, 2 years, 3 years, it's like, oh, we didn't really plan ahead for that one. That kind of sucks, right?
Yeah.
And so every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction.
So BYU's 11-1. I want to ask you a question. Let's say they, for whatever reason, they were 11-1 but didn't play in the Big 12 championship game. Would they be in?
Well, yeah, probably. If Alabama loses, Alabama gets bumped out and BYU's in.
If
right?
they didn't play and lose to
so,
Tech.
Yes. So, but that's their playoff game. Everybody says, hey, I want 16 teams. I want 24 teams. Oh, you got it. Right? BYU and Texas Tech, that's a playoff game. Alabama, Georgia, that's a playoff game. You look back during the regular season, all these close games. Texas, Florida, that wasn't quite a playoff game. Ohio State, Texas was. Texas wins that thing. Boom. They're in the top 10. Right. So we get a lot of playoff games, and there's a lot more at stake this week than I think a lot of people are taking for granted. In particular, the Alabama loses and they're in. Man, I just don't buy that right now with that bad loss to Florida State.
Now, and that was a long time ago, but if Texas is going to get dinged for Florida, then absolutely Alabama should be dinged for what happened with Florida State, no matter when it was played. Dave, these are for the fans who have never seen the segment with you, and a lot of them are learning about you have opinions, but you're going off of historical data, analytics, and all the things that you see that they're doing when they get in those meetings. Do brand names matter?
I don't believe they do. I just go by the numbers. You look at our projections off of the numbers this week. And I mean, I texted somebody Monday night saying Texas A&M to 7. Okay. I'm not going to say who I texted that to, but that's exactly where the numbers matched up with it.
Yep.
And you got 13 guesses who the text went to. So, right. So that didn't surprise Notre Dame, Alabama didn't surprise. It didn't. I would say the biggest surprise is pushing Texas above Vanderbilt. I mean,
but they beat Vanderbilt.
That's the only one that really they did, but it almost felt like that was more for show than anything else. But everything else was pretty much by the book. I don't think the brands matter. I do not believe that the AP top 25, how teams are ranked to begin with, matters at all. These things just play out by the numbers year in and year out. There's only 2 things that change: the narrative of the chair, which is a word salad every week, and then the interpretation of that word salad by a crazy media looking for clicks.
So,
that's
Dave,
it, right?
Yeah. Yep.
So,
I don't wait a minute. We're not crazy.
Yeah, no, we are.
We're the only sane people here. That's why we have you on to be crazy.
Okay, so but see, Dave, here he's up in the woods in Oregon with a beanie on. He's actually the sane one, and those of us it's kind of flipped. So, and what Dave is confirming here is what most of the saner people in the media have said, that the first however many weeks of the CFP show is a television show. Because if it was just data driven, Hunter Yurachek goes out there and go, here are the numbers.
Yep.
and here's how it breaks down. And then, you can go download the PDF at ESPN.com that shows you all the different things and how it breaks down and how Notre Dame compares to BYU and how this is here and there. And then you just have to say things like, well, it would be easier to pick head to head if they were back to back in the rankings. Bro, you make the rankings to the people, so again, just say the numbers. But if you did that, then there would be no show. There would just be not a show. It would just be like, hey, here it is.
And then they wouldn't have Allstate or whoever sponsoring it. Yeah.
Right. There wouldn't be interest. There wouldn't be controversy, right? We gotta be able to talk about things. That's why we have AP top 25s in the preseason, so we can have discussions, so it's all good. It's all fun. But I think for the most part, it is very much by the book. And I think there's a lot of football left in this season.
So BYU, we mentioned them. You mentioned Alabama. I think we've covered everybody. What is the one scenario then if Miami can get in? Or is there one?
I think Alabama. Yeah, I think Alabama and BYU lose, and Miami slides up to 10. I think that's it. All right, and then they go on the road to face number 7.
A&M.
Who's number 7?
7's A&M.
Right. Seven's A&M, and Notre Dame goes to Norman.
Ooh,
right? That would be that's how I see it.
Logos don't matter. Brands don't matter. A lot of people are going to disagree with you there, but you did. I don't know. I think I intercepted a text about A&M being 7th. And a lot of people didn't believe me. I mean, I'm not saying you're the one that sent me that text, but you did send the text, and it might have been to me. But you kind of hit that nail on the head. You even said Ole Miss was not going to drop. You have nailed everything. And I know people still want to argue with you because the fans are passionate.
I know I tweeted.
Yeah,
they are. And I know I tweeted yesterday afternoon.
That's where I saw it. It wasn't
I know
a text
that's
from
out
you
there in the
personally.
ether.
Yeah.
But no. I sent it to
A&M should be but they should be. So they were 4th. They lost. The other teams that were behind them didn't. They lost against their second best opponent of the entire year. I mean, that should shock no one at all that happened.
No,
A&M does. Yeah,
no.
Forget the analytics.
And they don't have a good defense.
What do you say?
They don't have a good defense.
No,
I got a story to tell you about A&M fans and analytics.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
You want to do that next week?
No, do that now.
Yeah. Go ahead. No.
You want me to do it right now?
Yes, I do.
We got a large.
So I was tweeting. This is funny as hell, right? So I was tweeting about how A&M doesn't have a championship level defense, and it's one of the worst units in the playoffs. And I got so much crap from an A&M fan, right? Texts, DMs, everything. Like nothing I've ever seen, to the point that it pissed me off. And I spent nearly 72 hours, every waking moment I could, breaking down every nuance in Texas A&M's offense, everything that Colin Klein has done, every play, every situation, every down, every field position, every score, everything I could find. It was 5 different reports of everything A&M has ever done this year. And I got it done by last Sunday, 6 days before the Texas and A&M game. And I emailed it to everybody I knew in Texas because I was so mad at A&M fans.
Well,
they have this stat that they're really good.
They're like 16th in the country in total defense, but it doesn't seem to make sense.
They had this streak on third downs. It was unbelievable where they were getting teams off the field because the pass rush was going well. But if you watch the games, they're a defense that is very good at making up for a mistake. So they have that, and then they'll have Cassius Howell come and make a sack, and then a team has to kick a field goal instead of getting a touchdown. But if they didn't have Cassius Howell, then that stat's completely different. It's kind of like one of those, oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, there's some brands like Notre Dame that people still feel like they're propped up, but UT is out. Yeah.
When you look at the advanced report on them, you're right. It's high risk, high reward defense. Right? They gamble a lot. and they give up a lot of explosiveness. They give up a lot of big plays. They exchange havoc for explosiveness opportunity for the other team. So their difficulty is, by the numbers, is facing somebody that has the ability to block that havoc and has the skill positions on the outside to exploit the one-on-one weaknesses. That's their give and take. Indiana's the same way too. Indiana just does it a lot better. They're a lot more conditioned with it. But the Bateman defense is high havoc, high risk. And so when you start doing that against better and better teams that can block your havoc and have elite athleticism on the edges and a quarterback that can get it to them, that's what's going to get them beat. The other thing is explosiveness in the run game. A&M, the two teams I would say that the team that they don't want to face in the playoffs is going to be Oregon, because their run game efficiency, their run game explosiveness matches up very well with the high havoc, high risk defense of A&M. But overall, it's not even top 50 in scoring efficiency, and it's one of the worst individual units in the playoffs this year.